Hello everyone, welcome back. Network Exploit here, and I am Paspati Banya, and I will be the mentor in this video. In this video, we will be talking about the differences between the TCP and UDP. As you guys already know the some of the differences between the TCP and UDP, and I will be adding some extra differences between the TCP and UDP. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's continue. As we all know that the TCP stands for Transmission Control Protocol and the UDP stands for User Datagram Protocol. This is the shortcut form of TCP and UDP. And the full form of TCP and UDP, as I already told you, that TCP stands for Transmission Control Protocol and the UDP stands for User Datagram Protocol. And furthermore, that the differences between the TCP and UDP are TCP is more secure than the UDP in the comparison of UDP, and in UDP is less secure in the comparison of TCP, or we can say that it is secure. First, I like this secure one is secure. Okay, TCP is more secure than UDP, and the UDP is unsecure in the comparison of TCP. Unsecured. Okay. And the next difference between the TCP and UDP is in TCP is the connection oriented. TCP is connection oriented because it establishes the three-way handshake, so it establishes the connection before it transfers any data between the two clients. Okay, TCP is CONNECT connection oriented, and the UDP is connectionless. Why it is known as connectionless? Because it did not establish the three-way handshake before starting any transmission between the two clients, between the sender and receiver. Okay, so it is known as the connectionless. Connectionless. Okay. And what the next difference in the TCP is it is slow. Why TCP is slow in the comparison UDP is because before transferring the data between the receiver, sender and receiver, they establish the connection between the sender and receiver. So it is taking some time in the comparison of UDP. So TCP is slow in the comparison of UDP. And why UDP is fast? UDP connection is fast because it did not establish the connection between the sender and user before sending any data or any files between the sender and receiver. It just in UDP it did not say that there is sender if a sender sending anything in UDP connections, it did not it just forward the packet whether the receiver receive the packet or not. Okay, it is fast. I know it is fast because they did not have to establish the three-way handshake connection between the sender and the receiver. And the TCP is slow and establish the connection, or it establishes the connection before transferring any packet, any files between the sender and receiver. So it guarantees the transmission of any packet to between the sender and receiver. It guarantees GUARANTE. It guaranteed transmission. It guaranteed the transmission between the sender and the receiver. Why it guaranteed? Because it is connection oriented. Its connection is oriented means that it will establish the connection between the sender and receiver before transferring any files. If in case if it miss any files while transferring from the sender between the sender and user, it will retransfer the file that have been not received by the receiver. So it is so that's the reason the TCP is known as guaranteed transmission protocol. Okay, and in UDP it do not guarantee. Okay, GUARAN, it do not guarantee that the package sent by the sender will receive by the receiver. It do not guarantee, because it is connectionless. It do not establish the connection between the sender and receiver before transferring any files, or any establish connection between the sender and receiver. Okay, so it do not guarantee. It is connectionless. It is connectionless, so it do not guarantee the transmission of the file. And the difference between the TCP is used by the critical application. TCP connection is used by the critical application. It is used by the critical applications. Okay. Critical application means in that application that require the exact data by the sender, and it should be exactly receive the data that is sent by the sender. Okay? Receiver must receive the data that is sent by the sender. Okay, and in UDP, UDP connection are used by the by real time application, real time application. And in real time application, that we just require the latest data. We do not focus on the previous data that is missed, that is not received by the receiver. Okay, in UDP. And what's the next difference between in TCP are packet reorder mechanism. In TCP we have the mechanism that will reorder the packet as the sender sent it in the same order. By managing the order, it will receive by the receiver. If the sender sent 1, 2, 3, 4 sequentially, and the receiver will also receive the 1, 2, 3, 4 sequentially. The sequence sent by the receiver sender and the receiver receive the packet by the receiver will be the same. Okay, and it have the features of packet 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 reorder MACHANIS mechanism. Okay, in TCP we have the packet reorder mechanism, and UDP we do not have any reorder management. No reorder management. Reorder management. Okay, management. Yeah, management. Okay. And what the next difference is that in TCP we have the flow control. Flow control. What the flow control means? Flow control means the amount of data that is sent by the user, that sent by the sender, will have the capacity by the receiver to receive it. If the receiver have the capacity to receive the 5 MB per second, the sender will send the data of 5 MB per second. That means we can control the flow. If the receiver have 2 MB capacity to receive the data, the sender will send the 2 MB data per second. Okay, this we can control the flow of the data according to the receiver that they can receive. Okay, but in UDP we do not have any flow control. No flow control. Why it do not have the flow control means that it is connectionless, so it will not establish the three-way handshake connections between the sender and receiver. So if it did not establish a connection, so it did not have to. It will not receive the receiver side information, that how much the capacity of receiving the data by the receiver and how much data need to send by the sender, so it will receive by the receiver. Sender will assume that the receiver will accept the 10 Mbps data per second, and in scenario, if the receiver have the capacity of receiving the data 10 MB per second, then it will receive all the data sent by the sender. But in the case receiver do not have the capacity to receive the 10 Mbps per data, then it will all the packet discarded by the receiver. It will not receive the packet. Okay, it just receives the 5 Mbps data, then per second data, then other 5 Mbps data will be discarded. It will not receive by the receiver. So we do not have any flow control in UDP. Okay, we can control the flow, but in TCP we can control the flow of data. And what we have, the next difference between is advanced error checking. We have a DHCP advanced error checking. Okay. And the next difference in TCP is advanced error checking. What does advanced error checking means? That the message sent by the sender must be the same exact message received by the receiver. When we compare the message sent by the sender and the message received by the receiver, the message must be exact. So it maintain the integrity of the message, and it maintain the consistency. That means the packet. That means that any message that is sent by the sender must received by the receiver exactly in the same manner. Okay, in the same exact message. Like if the sender sent the message like 1 2 3 4, and the receiver must receive the message 1 2 3 4. That means if the sender send 1 2 3 4 message, if the receiver receive 1 2 4, then the message is 3 is missing in the receiver side. So it will check. It have the advanced checking mechanism. So it will check and match each and every message received by the receiver, and it will compare the message sent by the sender. Then it will compare both the message and check if there is any mistake or any packet missing in the receiver side. Then it will retransfer the message that is needed to that is missing in the receiver side. Okay, it has the advanced mechanism. That will be advanced checking mechanism like CheckSum. It will be creating the checksum of the message sent by the sender, and the receiver side it will again calculate the checksum of the message received by the receiver side. Then they compare both the checksum of the sender side and the receiver side. Then if the checksum matches, then there is no difference between the message sent by the sender and the receiver receive the message. Okay, so there are different kind of checksum available, but I have just given you the example of one. So if you want to more follow that, you need to check the video on this channel. Okay, network expert channel. And in UDP, what the net difference means? In TCP you have advanced error checking, but in UDP we have just basic means basic checksum means basic error checking. Basic error checking means like checksum. We only have the checksum error checking mechanism in UDP. Okay, and TCP we have checksum and the 1 bit error, 2 bit error, and more than 2 bit error checking mechanisms that I have discussed in advance. I have discussed in the video that I have uploaded in this channel. So you should guys take a look at it, so you can understand what are the checking mechanisms are available in the UDP and TCP. Okay, and in UDP we have basic error checking. Basic error checking means checksum is the basic error checking mechanism. Okay, and what the net difference between TCP and UDP are? In TCP we have 20 bytes header. Okay, 20 byte is bytes header. header. Okay. In case of UDP, we have only 8 byte header. 8 bytes header. 8 header. And in TCP, we have acknowledgment mechanism. NOW, acknowledgement, acknowledgement, mechanism. What does acknowledgement mechanism means? Acknowledgement mechanism means if we send a certain if the sender send a certain package or any certain message, if the receiver receive the message that is sent by the sender, it will send that acknowledgement message. Acknowledgement message means that yeah, I have received the packet or I received the message. Okay, if suppose there is a RAM, and in the sender side and receiver side there is a RAM, SAM and RAM. Okay, if the SAM send the message, because SAM is a sender, and on the RAM is in receiver side, RAM receive the message. Just like if the RAM send the message 1, and the SAM receive the message. Okay, SAM send the message 1, and the RAM will receive the message 1, and it will say, hey buddy, I have received the message you have sent me, and this is the message you have sent me. Then it will say that yeah, I have sent the 1 message. Did you receive the 1? And the receiver side will say, yeah, yes, I have received the message 1. Again the SAM will send the another message 2. If we have any error between if you have any error or any bit flip-flop while transferring the data, so the RAM did not receive the message 2, then it will say it will do not send the acknowledgement that it will send the another type of acknowledgement that it will yeah buddy, I did not receive the message you have sent it to me. Then the SAM will be telling that, SAM will be tell that, yeah buddy, I have sent the message, is the 2, please check it again, did you receive the message 2? And the RAM will be send that, no, I did not receive the message 2. So it will send the acknowledgement type. Okay, it is positive and negative acknowledgement. Like if the positive acknowledgement mean that positive response, that as I have received the message. What the negative acknowledgement means? Negative acknowledgement means that the message sent from the sender side is not received by the receiver. Okay, so you have the acknowledgement mechanism. Okay, so here we do not have no acknowledgement mechanism. Okay, that means the receiver will do not the receivers will not send any acknowledgement message to the sender, either it receive the packet or do not receive the packet. Okay, then what the next difference between the TCP and UDP is, in TCP it establishes the three-way handshake before transferring any data. Three-way handshake. It establishes the handshake connection. What does three-way handshake means? That means if the sender want to send a message to the receiver, for it will establish the connection. The connection means, hey, just like if we are two person talking with each other, if we want to talk with each other, what we need to say? The sender, just like sender 1 want to talk with the sender to receiver 1, and what will be sender say? Hey buddy, are you available? And the receiver will say, no, I'm busy, I don't want to talk with you. Then it will not establish the connection. Okay, if the both sender and receiver are ready to connect, just like if the sender say, hey buddy, and it will say that receiver will say, yes, hi, and it will say again it will say, yes, what? Then the receiver will say, yes, what happened? Then sender will send, hey buddy, I want to talk about something. Then and the receiver will say, yes, let's talk about it. What's about that you want to talk about? And receiver will say, and again receiver sender will say that, yes, this is the data I want to send to you. And last, after establishing the connection, it will transfer the data. Okay, it do not transfer the data before establish the connection in TCP. Okay, in TCP it will establish first three-way handshake connection between the sender and receiver, then it will transfer the data. Okay, it's just like the two person talking with each other. Okay, if the two person are unknown, then what will do? If I am I am in Nepal. If I will in Butul, if I will go to any places in Nepal, like I will go to Bhairava. If I am a known person in that field, if I have to connect, I have to communicate with another person. What I will do? First, I will ask the person hello. It will reply me hello. Then I will again say hi sir. It will again receiver will say hi. And I will tell the data that sir, I want to know something about this Bhairava. Then the receiver, the people in the Bhairava will say yes. What you want to know about the Bhairava? And we establish the connection between the communication between the two people. Okay, it's the same way in computer. In TCP, it will establish the three-way handshake to communicate between the sender and receiver. Okay, and in what in UDP, it will not establish any three-way handshake connection, like no SRET, no three-way handshake. Okay, in UDP we do not have any mechanism to establish the three-way handshake because it is connectionless. Okay, it do not establish the connection between the sender and receiver. It just send the message, anything that he want to send, he or she want to send, sender want to send the message to the receiver. Okay, and what are the protocol that falls under the TCP? That is a TCP connection, transmission control protocol. And here are the few examples of the protocols that is TCP connections. That is DNS, and STTPS, and FTP, SMTP, and it will be, there are many more protocols that use TCP connections. Okay, these are the few examples in TCP that use TCP connections, like DNS, HTTPS, FTP, and SMTP. And what are the protocol? What are the example of protocol that use UDP connections? And there is DNS and DHCP and FT, TFTP and SNMP, etc. DNS use, as you see that DNS in TCP you have DNS, and in UDP you also have DNS. That means DNS use both TCP and UDP protocol. So you do not confuse here, guys. Okay, DNS use both TCP and UDP protocol. So I have written DNS in both TCP and UDP. And as you see in UDP we have DNS, DHCP, TFTP, SNMP. These are the protocol which uses the UDP protocol to establish the connection between, to establish the connection or use a UDP protocol between the by sending the data between the sender and receiver. Okay, and as you see, guys, we are at the last of this video. So this is for the recap. I will again explain you the difference between TCP and UDP. And in TCP are secure, UDP are unsecure. TCP is connection oriented, and in UDP it is connectionless. TCP is fast, and in UDP it is in TCP it is slow, and UDP is fast. And TCP guarantees the transmission of the data sent by the sender and received by the receiver, and the UDP, it did not guarantee the transmission of data. And in TCP are used by the critical applications, and UDP protocol is used by the real-time applications. And we have in TCP we have packet reorder mechanism, and in UDP we do not have any reorder mechanism. In TCP we have flow control, and UDP we do not have any flow control mechanism. In TCP we have advanced error checking, and in UDP you have only basic error checking like CheckSum. In TCP have 20 byte header, and UDP have only 8 byte header. And in TCP you have acknowledgment mechanism. In UDP you do not have any acknowledgement mechanism. In TCP it will establish the connection by the three-way handshake, and in UDP you do not have any three handshake mechanism. And the protocol that use TCP are DNS, HTTPS, FTP, SMTP, and etc. And in the protocol that use UDP are DNS, DHCP, TFTP, SNMP, and etc. And hope guys you understand the difference between the TCP and UDP. This is the difference between the TCP and UDP. Hope you guys like it. If you like the video or if you find any valuable information from this video, hope you guys subscribe our channel, like this video, and share this video to your friends so they can get to know the difference between the TCP and UDP. And guys, this for today's video. I'll be seeing in the next video. So guys, good time, enjoy.